Archbishop Len, I'd like to ask, how did you first come across the YCW? Was it at the seminary, or what was your first experience of the YCW?
It was definitely in the seminary at Corpus Christi College, Werribee, and I was, I think, immediately grabbed by it. And we had some visitors who came down to the college from the old lay Catholics who had grasped something of the YCW, and we were talking about Father in the wheelchair. What's his name?
Father in the wheelchair. Oh yes, Lombard.
Lombard, and when he came down, he always gave us something fiery, you know, and something good about the YCW.
What years would that have been?
It had been from 43 to 46, 42 to 46.
And you mentioned some of the older lay leaders. Do you mean like from the Campion Society or
yes,
something like that?
And Jackson, the Catholic
Dennis
man,
Jackson.
yes, and even Santamaria, because when he came down as a young man, he could have gone, I think, straight into the real formal YCW, but he just didn't. He wasn't drawn that way. So it'd be interesting to know what would have been had he. And then there were some of the first YCW blokes were coming down then. I was there from 46 to 50, and then I went to Rome. Sorry, I went to Rome in 46, and left Werribee in 46.
So does that mean you did your philosophy first at Werribee?
Yes.
And then you went to do theology in Rome.
Yes,
Is that how it used to work?
That's how it was.
Okay.
And it was a pity that Frank Little was in the same class as I was at Werribee, but his bishop, was Dan Mannix, of course, suggested that he do the concluding year of philosophy.
Oh, so you didn't do the last year of philosophy?
Well, I did most of it.
Okay.
And I was able to say on my entry applications in Rome that I'd done the philosophy.
I see, yeah, because in John Maloney's book he also didn't complete his philosophy also,
yes.
And he had to do a special examination in Rome on his philosophy.
Yes.
Did you have to do anything like that?
No, I didn't. I admitted that I hadn't done very much in Hebrew.
Right.
And they gave me an examination.
Yeah.
And then I had to do it for the first year, but that wasn't any problem.
Okay. So you were at Propaganda starting in end of 1946, was it?
Yes, that's right.
And for how many years was that?
4 years.
And were there any other Australians? You mentioned Frank Little.
Yes, and then there was Gerald Moylan from Sandhurst, and John Doherty from Lismore, and also the great Bishop Ashby from Christchurch in New Zealand.
Okay.
And he was rather famous. He was at my ordination as a bishop in Townsville in 1967.
Right.
Because he was a great friend of mine.
Right. And were any of these like colleagues in Rome, were they oriented towards the YCW in any way?
Certainly the students that came from Werribee were all oriented to some way towards, and those that weren't, they didn't know about it.
Right.
You know, like for example, the ones that came from Manly, they didn't really have any idea of YCW.
Right.
And also similarly to the few that came from New Zealand.
Okay. What, this Bishop Ashby, did he know anything about it?
Not much.
Not much, yeah.
But he you know how the New Zealanders are mad about rugby union, and they're very good at it, that he stood up to the South African team coming to New Zealand because of the racism, and he became most unpopular through the whole country, but he stood up to it.
Right.
And he eventually got the visit stopped.
All right. Okay. And let's just stop this a minute. Give my